Hello. Welcome back to Whiskey with E. I'm Eric. Now today we are not going to do a whiskey with or without the E. We're not going to review a craft beer. We are going to do something that I enjoy from time to time. We are going to try a port, but not just any port. We're going to try an older bottling. So without further ado, we have Galway Pipe. Now this is the Yalumba port. Now this is definitely 1990s bottling, coming in at 18.7% in a 750ml bottle. So you guys can read that. Alrighties. So I've had this for a few years. Alright, so honestly, they still sell Galway pipes, at your local Aldi's or BWS, all that. But I'm pretty sure this is some original juice from back when, bottled by S.Smith&Son Pty.Ltd-Review. I'm not even sure if they're still doing it, because I'm sure at some point Yalumba, they sold off the Galway pipe brand, to a third party, and I think that's who owns it till this day. Now, I'm going to have a little read at the back for you, so bear with me, guys. Yalumba. Samuel Smith established Yalumba in 1849 and began a tradition of quality family winemaking which continues today. Since the beginning, Yalumba has been synonymous, that's a big word, with fine fortified wines. Galway Pipe is the flagship of Yalumba's range, displaying all the smooth, rich, mellow flavours expected from first-class Australian tawny ports. Now, before we open this, I wrote down some history, just in case anyone's wondering. So the name, Galway Pipe, is named after Governor Sir Henry Galway, Governor of South Australia from 1914 to 1920. Governor Galway was a frequent visitor to the Yalumba winery, and on each visit he would conduct a tasting of the finest pipes. So pipes, not the bad kind of pipes, guys. It is 500 litres barrels, so 500 litre barrels, small oak barrels of port. Let's just say he was an advocate for South Australian wines with a passion for high quality fortified. So story goes, after tasting the different barrels, whichever pipes was most to his liking, he inscribed it as Galway's Pipe, and this particular blend was used exclusively at government homes, government in-house must be given to the politicians to drink, eh? With beginnings under the stewardship of the Smith family, Yalumba, they are still a family-owned and run business based in South Australia, in Longhorn Creek, South Australia. So based in Longhorn Creek, South Australia, head winemaker and master blender Chris Dix, along with Chad Fenton Smith, who is the senior winemaker. I guess they are both South Australian locals combining up their knowledge of winemaking experience to still produce awesome quality wines to this day. Eh? But I'm just curious of how different this is going to be compared to recent batches. All right. So, a bit more history, guys. Bear with me. We're going to get right to it. Apparently, when Yalumba shifted their focus to the production of premium table wines, sometimes in the mid-90s, they sold their fortified wine stocks to third parties, and Galway Pipe was one of the labels that was sold. When Yalumba was producing Galway Pipe, it was regarded as premium tawny port, offering it was an old tawny style made from the choicest Shiraz and Tokay. I'm not a wine person. Tokay grapes, fortified with brandy spirits So normally to become a port, let's just say, obviously it's all made out of grape, but they add a grain neutral spirit, which is like a brandy, most likely 77% brandy, into the wine. So maybe, so it becomes the port, guys. I'm sure there's videos out there describing what port is. We're just going to review this. All right, now, so this bottling here is matured for roughly 12 to 15 years in small oak casks. It carries no vintage year, but was blended each year to the high level of consistency. So the bottle, hold on. So this bottle is somewhere around 25 years old. Alrighties. Now, keep in mind, port does not age in the bottle if it is not a vintage port. So technically, this should taste, theoretically, how it was bottled back in the 90s. Alrighty, so, you know what, without further ado, let's get this open. So here's the bottle. Let me show you it. Alrighty, this kind of rough surface, green glass. I just wonder if this cork is just going to rip and fall apart, but here we go, guys. I've been holding off on this for a few years, so you know that feeling where you're like, I don't know if I want to open it now. I don't think I can find replacements to this, but you know what? Bottles are made to be enjoyed, and now today is just that day that I'm going to be trying this, and hopefully it is still very enjoyable. So, alright, we're going to cut this plastic open. Alright, here we go. Oh. Alright, it's cut. We're gonna be gentle. Alright, half the cork snapped off. It's just floating in there. That's alright. Honestly, at least it's one solid piece of cork that's floating in there. I mean, I've had bottles of bourbon and all sorts of things that just crumbled in there. So here we go. 1990s Galway pipes. Now let me know if you guys actually know what year this release is. Now I've seen pictures of this on Google, especially with this serial number starting with 9 and it goes to 311. This barcode, the barcode number there. Alrighties. Let's get right into it, guys. Here we go. Oh my goodness, look at that color. Woo! Oh my goodness. Alright. I think I should go get a cork to put on top of that. But before we do that, that is dark, guys. I mean, alright. Normally, when you're looking at things like this, it's going to have like a tawny kind of color, hence why there's tawny ports. You're going to have that brown kind of copper kind of hue. But this has a nice reddish hue. To be honest, this reminds me of like a well-aged bourbon, maybe finished in a PX cherry barrel, or, you know, it kind of even looks like a scotch, like a single malt scotch that was primarily matured in cherry barrels. I mean, just look at that color, guys. Can you guys see that? Look at that. Alrighties. Color looks amazing. Let's see how it noses. Alrighties, here we go. There is a nuttiness. There is sweet. It's sweet. It's nutty. But what kind of sweet? I mean, it's almost like just like sweet raisins, guys. Sweet raisins. You are getting subtle little hints of like raspberries or something like that. But typically those more brighter, sweeter red fruit notes is going to come in the ruby port more, you know. But honestly, this color looks, it almost is heading towards that ruby look, but you could tell it's tawny. purely just by that light orangey copper hue, that tawny kind of color. You are getting oakiness in here too. There's also a vanilla, like a caramel note. That is just awesome, guys. Oh my goodness. Honestly, I can nose this all day. This is just so inviting. Like, I'm getting like almost like a cake, like a layered kind of creamy strawberry cake or something. Keep in mind, this is just my first impressions. I've never tried this bottling before. I'm just opening it now. Let's just say this originally belonged to my brother's father. I guess he gave me some old wines that he was keeping. I cracked one a few years back, that old Benjamin one. I'll grab the bottle and show you. Actually, I'll show you soon. But you know what? Let's have a sip. Here we go, guys. Cheers, everyone. Who has tried Galway pipes? Ports. Who's tried this older bottling? Honestly, it noses a whole lot better than the versions that you're finding at Aldi right now. I doubt they're even going to be aging it for 12 to 15 years nowadays, alright? I mean, there is the Galway 12 year, but keep in mind, 12 to 15, this one. Alright, here we go. Oh, that is good. It's like a musky note that comes on the back palate. But you know what? I'm going to have another sip. I've got to wrap my brain around all this. Alright, here we go. Sweet raspberries. You know that oakiness on the nose, it's not really coming through as much on the palate. Man, that is good, guys. Like, comparing to the recent Galway pipes that I've tried, this is nice. Just so bright. Bright raspberries, like that strawberries kind of vibe. But there's not much tannic vibes going on here. It's not even really that acidic, if that makes sense. Honestly, it's probably just smoothed off after being in the bottle for this long. But like I said, they're not meant to age in the bottle. It shouldn't even really change, but I have had bottlings where maybe the cork was a bit damaged and that just tasted phenomenal. That was like just chocolate. The one that I'm talking about is that old Benjamin one. Actually, let me go grab that bottle just in case you guys have forgotten what it looks like. I'll be back in a second. Here we go. And we're back. Alrighty, so this was the bottle that I was trying to explain. So this is an old bottling of port as well that was pretty much loose on the cork and all that jazz. But honestly, this tasted like chocolate. My favorite. Now, this is not tasting like chocolate, but you know what? It's still a beautiful Yalumba port regardless. Alright, guys. I'm just going to keep pouring up some more. I think it's just so beautiful. Now, I got myself a little wild turkey cork here. Hopefully it'll fit. Nope. Alright, we're going to need a bigger cork. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Oh my goodness. We're going to need a bigger cork. Alright. I don't even really want to put this in. We're just going to plop it there for now. Just so nothing flies in there. Not that there's any flies buzzing around me. We're not outside, but Oh, my apologies, guys, if my voice sounds like I'm echoing because I'm in the kitchen and I got the doors closed off, so maybe that doesn't even help. But you know what? Let's go for a second pour, second time reactions. Let's do it. Like I said, guys, look at that color. Look at that color. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's dark, guys. It's dark. It's dark, but you can tell it is tawny with that reddish hue. I don't know. I love that color, guys. It's a really nice color. And this nose is just phenomenal. Yeah, it's like raisin sultanas wrapped in some kind of sweet oak. I mean, if you're digging vanillas, the caramels, you know, you're getting that layer of like a layered cake, like a, you know, one of those nice spongy, creamy, strawberry kind of layered cakes. It just noses beautifully. Anyways, I am going to be most likely experimenting with this, but you know what, before I get into what I'm going to do with it, let's have another sip. Cheers everyone, drink responsibly. That is just so, it's so sweet, it's so approachable. There's no terrible acidic kind of taste. Now normally when I go buy a fresh bottle of port, it's normally really still acidic. I don't know how to explain that, but you're not getting that on the palate here. Honestly, if anything, it's really smooth. It's not even really that drying, guys, to be honest. Crazy sweet though, you know. Hence why they say this is a good thing for dessert. Alrighties. Fortified wines, they class them as dessert wines. But let me explain to you what I really want to do with this. Now, you know how I've been experimenting with wood and the red gum and, you know, trying to age the leftover bottles. I figured I'm going to tip some of this into a glass and I'm going to snap off some fresh virgin red gum wood bits that I've toasted. We're going to see what it does to the port and we're going to see what it's going to do to future whiskey. All right, because after we leave it soaking, you know, leaving the port soaking in that wood, we're obviously going to empty it and then we're going to eventually top that glass up with a bourbon of our choice or scotch or whatever it is. So then we're going to make our own port cast finish. There we go. Alrighties. So this is what I mean, guys. If you don't have a barrel or an empty barrel to experiment with, you could try to do what I'm doing. I mean, obviously I would love to have a virgin oak barrel to, you know, tip some port in there, let it absorb in for a year. Who knows? But then you're going to eventually empty it and then you're going to want to fill it up with the whiskey of your choice. And then there you go. You got your homemade port cast finished. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you have tried any Galway pipes. Have you tried this older bottling? We're losing sunlight. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you think the older bottlings is better than recent bottlings? I think this is the case, guys. Especially this non-age stated version. I mean, it's non-age stated, but supposedly it's 15, you know, 12 to 15 years, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, cheers everyone. Now this bottle I've noticed sold at auction